What's up, people? How are we all doing? Do we know anything about gout? Change your diet. Your favorite topic. What's up, Liliana? Oh, you know, I did this after I did the survey with the email list. I got over over 1,000 responses from people. A lot of people like to learn about body fat or how to lose body fat. It's one of those subjects that I do know about it, obviously. So I'm gonna have to talk about it. But this is basically my freebie webinar before my paid webinar that I'm gonna have next week, which will be an hour long. But the biochemistry of losing body fat. Why did I feel like talking about this? Well, I just did. Plus, I'm dehydrated right now, and I just woke up. Well, I didn't just wake up, but just had chiropractic adjustment. I'm sitting in my car right now, and I need to get myself going. So I'm pretty informal, aren't I? Yeah, we're gonna talk. All right. So biochemistry of losing body fat. Why do I set up this way? Probably I'm not going to say this is the number one reason, but I would say arguably the biggest meta reason people fail to lose body fat, people fail to lose body weight, is the way that they think about it. If you conceptualize your body weight as being a numerical number, let's say 150 pounds, you weigh 150, I want to weigh 130. So you set up with this metric sort of paradigm that if you can get your weight down to this level, then I've lost the fat and now life is good. That's a way of thinking about it, but that is ineffective and it's incomplete. The fundamental reason that you lose body fat, it's not just because you deprive yourself of calories, it's because you fundamentally change the way your body handles energy. That's the big missing piece. You change the way your body handles the energy that you consume, which that means you change your hormones, that means you change your daily metabolic function in all of your cells. That means that you change the way your body uses oxygen. That means you change the way that your muscles metabolize glucose. That means that you change the way that your fat cells empty in and out. So when you're talking about losing body fat, yeah, there is a factor. Part of the equation is energy balance. If you're consuming more energy than your body is using, you're going to store that energy. So calories matter. Calories are useful in the sense that they give us some quantification that we can assess our energy intake with. But calories are not the entire equation. The big part of the equation, the part that makes body fat loss permanent, is that if you lose body fat properly, you improve your hormonal function. And that gets missed out because a lot of people, when they try to lose body fat, they don't improve their hormonal function, they make it worse. Because they crash diet, they diet where they deprive themselves of essential nutrients, they diet in such a way as to slow down their metabolism, because your metabolism can be slowed down, definitely. So you can be losing weight, you might be losing fat, but metabolically, hormonally, biochemically, you actually are in a worse off place. You're in a depressed metabolic state. And then subsequently, when you're in a state of metabolic slowness, your diet can't sustain itself. You can't sustain itself, and then you have dieted yourself down to a point of no return where inevitably you're going to end up rebounding and bouncing back up. You will. I've seen this in fitness competitors. I've seen this in regular dieters. I've seen this in women, female clients I've had many times, where they've come to me, let's say they've tried to lose weight a dozen times, and each time doesn't work. They drop 20 pounds, gain back 20 pounds. Drop 20 pounds, gain back 20 pounds. What's the problem? The problem is they keep thinking of it just in terms of pure numbers. If I can just get down to this number, if I can just lose X amount of weight, it's not about that. It's about that externally, but biologically, that is not what is going to make the fat loss permanent. That's not what's going to change you. Permanent fat loss, it's not that you lose fat. Permanent fat loss is that you changed your metabolism, you changed your actual physiology, you improved it for the better. That's why the statement of what's the really common one that's just completely wrong? Eat less, move more. That's wrong. That's flat out wrong. You cannot expend more energy and then be consuming less energy. You can do that short term, and you'll lose weight. You will, because of course if you're more active, of course if you're trying to be more active, and you are also under eating, yeah, you're gonna have weight because your body's gonna have to get its energy from somewhere. But you can't sustain that. It's unsustainable. You would, if you tried to take that to its logical endpoint, it would kill you. You'd be starving. You'd literally be starving. So, in the long term, what is it about? Part of it's habit change. Part of it's habit, part of it's behavior, definitely. The psychology of fat loss is going to come into play, absolutely. You're going to have to change the way you think about food. You're going to have to develop a better relationship with how you feed yourself. You're going to have to develop a better relationship with your environment. You're probably going to have to change who your friends are. You're going to have to change the environment that is your kitchen. You're going to have to change your time management. There's a lot of factors that go into that. That's all the cognitive stuff, the psychological stuff. The physiological part of fat loss, the physiological part of fat loss is optimizing your hormones, optimizing your metabolism, improving your insulin sensitivity, increasing your testosterone, getting your estrogen levels under control, lowering your bodily inflammation levels, getting your gut health checked. The physiological part is what makes the big difference. And then, with that too, gaining the muscle mass. If you want fat loss to stick, if you want fat loss to be permanent, the way to fixate that, I know the language I'm using is somewhat, very theological, but it is. The way to fixate fat loss and to keep your body in a better, healthier state is that you have to gain muscle and get stronger and essentially upgrade your metabolism. And then if you do that in conjunction with dropping the body fat off, now your body's in a healthier physical state compared to its heavier state, and it will, so to speak, want to stay there. You have reset your metabolism. You've reset it. That's how you reset metabolism. You gain muscle, you get faster, you get stronger, you improve your cardio, you improve the way your body uses oxygen, and then if you've done all that and your body weight is less than it was prior, you're not going to rebound back. I mean, you could if you dropped all the good things that you've done for yourself, but you're not going to want to rebound back because you've actually made yourself, on a day-to-day basis, you feel better. Your sense of wellness has increased. How do you determine your metabolic rate? There's an equation for that. You can look that up. Just Google that. How to calculate metabolism. It's a calorie equation. And understand, guys, with calorie equations, they're never going to be 100% accurate. Everybody is biochemically unique, but they are accurate in that they give you a baseline. But it also requires you to truly track your food. If you've never tracked your eating ever, and you don't have a sense of autoregulation where you really don't know how much you eat, you don't know what is in anything, you don't know how calories, energy, protein, fat, carbohydrates work. If you know none of that and you're completely ignorant to it, yeah, you should learn the quantification aspect of it. Doesn't mean you have to do it forever, but you need that first order knowledge. Otherwise, it's very difficult to help people lose body fat and make better decisions when you're food ignorant, when you're nutritionally ignorant. Even if you're not going with a calorie cutting approach, let's say you're going with like a very low carb approach, or you're doing like a ketogenic approach, or you're going, something like a very low carb diet. You could do that. You could. But you're still going to have to learn what those things mean. The aspect of this trying to diet by restricting yourself, don't eat this, don't eat that, the magical diet thinking, silver bullet thinking, that never works out because you're not really learning anything. Is it better to work out in the morning when hormone levels are higher? Does it matter? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I would suggest people work out when it's convenient for you, whenever you can get in. Everyone says cardio is more important than training. Why so? Who's everybody? Cardio is not effective for fat loss at all. Your body, that's a health myth. That's a bullshit health myth. If you want to change the way that your body works, like I keep saying, physiologically, metabolically, you have to build muscle mass. That is inarguable. There is no argument against that. You must build muscle mass. Must. You also need to improve how your body uses oxygen, which, yes, that is cardio. The fallacy of trying to use cardio to burn fat off, it's an exercise-induced deficit. You cannot sustain that. That's been proven out many times. That is counter to how biology works. If you are trying to be more active than you are consuming, like I said a few minutes ago, you can't keep that up. You can't be cutting forever. Well, and I keep making this point. Women do this all the time. They'll try to cardio the fat off, cardio the weight off. What happens? You slow down your metabolism, your cortisol levels go up, you make yourself skinny fat. Women age themselves faster. Women age themselves a lot because they try to keep themselves artificially skinny, so to speak, with cardio. And then you do that for 10, 15 years, you don't look so good. When someone loses weight and gets stuck with the last 10, 15 pounds, is it a hormonal issue? Not necessarily. Oftentimes, it can be an issue of tracking. Maybe you're not assessing things properly. If you are tracking calories, it can be that you need to change training up. You might need to change your training. Not change it up to do something different, but maybe the way you're training is not as effective as you think. It could just be you're eating a little too much. It could be that maybe you've been dieting for too long. It could be that maybe you need to refeed. There's a lot of things it could be, honestly. Can a beta-alanine pre-workout formula disrupt gut health? No, and I mean, maybe if it does for you, maybe. But yeah, I wouldn't think so. You assess that based upon your individual, tolerance. But biofeedback. Assess that based on your own biofeedback. If I built muscle from 155 to 170 is worth it to cut right now, 159, I don't know. What's your body fat? If you feel like you've gotten fluffy, then maybe. If you are lean, then keep building. That's all, again, individual. Very welcome. Yeah, so meta point, guys, is to rehash it, and then I'll just take some questions. But if you want to lose body fat permanently, view it from the standpoint of changing your hormones and changing your metabolism. Don't view it from the standpoint of just dropping weight on the scale. Think about physiology and health first, and then as a consequence of improving that, as a consequence of optimizing your hormones, optimizing your metabolism, your weight, body fat goes down. Think of it that way. If you try to approach it from the scale, sort of the scale perspective, you'll be frustrated and you're always going to be learning things the wrong way. Any questions, people? When do you recommend cardio? I recommend cardio for everybody. Cardio is not cardio. Cardio is representative that your body uses oxygen optimally. So don't think of that's like I very often recommend people to walk. I recommend you should be walking. Or is that cardio? It's not that I'm recommending it because it's cardio. I'm recommending it because it's a basic human function to be able to breathe efficiently. So again, you have to reframe these things. Is it good to be able to walk? Yeah. Is it good that your body can use oxygen? Obviously. If you don't breathe, you die. So should your body be able to use oxygen in a energetically optimal manner? Yeah. You should probably do some cardio then. Do something that elevates your heart rate and causes your body to create greater oxygen need. That can be walking every day. That could be riding a bike. That could be, that could be a lot of things. I mean, really, cardio could be almost anything. Can fasted cardio be used to help optimize metabolism? I would argue yes, and I know that's a very contentious point if you get into the fitness industry stuff. I'm not going to say that fasted cardio burns way more body fat, but when you do fasted cardio, obviously you're in a fasted state. Usually your blood glucose is pretty low, and there are, I think, there's metabolic benefits to doing cardio in a fasted state and training your body to use glucose more efficiently and improve your insulin sensitivity that way. What are the effective lifts for muscle growth, squat deadlifts? Muscle growth is predicated upon doing patterns of movement. Can you push? Can you pull? Can you hinge? Can you squat? Can you lunge? Basic patterns of movement. From those patterns of movement, then you get exercises. So, yeah, you want to do the big compound movements, compound exercises. But don't think that exercises are the foundation of a muscular body. Being able to move well is the foundation of a muscular body. Actually, on that note, I do have an effective exercise guide, which is on my website. So if you want to know what the best exercises to do, get the guide. How do you kickstart metabolism? If you are metabolically in a slow state, meaning let's say like you have very little muscle mass, your diet is lousy, start walking, start cleaning up how you eat. And also start strength training. Also get better sleep too. Having a slow metabolism, there is a such thing. Some people have faster metabolisms than other people in regards to their energy needs. But very often with like a slow metabolism, it's people who are inactive, don't have. I hate man buns. I would rather literally slit my wrist and go bleed to death in the street than ever wear a man bun ever. People that have slow metabolisms, let's say they get lousy sleep, don't have don't have any muscle mass, not that active, lousy diet. Is your metabolism really slow? Yeah, but it's slow because your lifestyle is slow. Unless you literally have a thyroid condition where maybe you have a low thyroid, but that's usually not the case. Legs and core seem to be the most really subjugation test. They do, but the acute hormonal effects of working out are kind of overrated in that sensibility. It's more over the systemic, consistent effects of doing it long term. More important, shoulder or back? Neither. Why are you even framing it that way? More important? You should be strong in everything. Do you believe in weight? That's not belief. That's not belief. It's not predicated on belief. It's scientifically established that your body needs protein to function, since you are literally made out of protein. Whey protein has proven itself 1,000 million times over. That's like asking me, do you believe in breathing air? Let's see. Well, if I choke you right now, you die. So yeah, I think oxygen's important. It's not belief. These things are axiomatic truths. No protein equals no recovery growth. No, I never understood that question. Like, what do you think about protein? Your body is made of protein. It's made of protein, for fuck's sake. How do you ask that? Like, it's the same question. Like, do you believe in protein powder? Do I believe in protein powder? How is that a belief? So far as I know, human body is made of amino acids, so it would follow that you need those things to be healthy. How do you motivate your girlfriend to exercise without triggering insecurity, bitterness? Get really, really jacked yourself, so she gets insecure that you can get a girl that's hotter than her, and then maybe she'll go to the gym. Or you can just break up with her and find a better girl. I'd break up with her. And I'm not joking at all. So, yeah, just pick and choose one of those. Why are you even with a girl that's unhealthy? Why are you even doing that to yourself? Do you really want to breed with that girl? She's going to have deficient genetics. Are the protein and body weight ratios people much reliable? Yeah, they're pretty reliable. It's a range. Some people need more protein than others. Some people can handle a lot more protein than others. It's very common with bodybuilders. They'll have extremely high protein intakes, but they're usually on steroids. That you don't want to use them as examples. But yeah, protein in terms of how many grams of protein you need per day. A gram per pound of muscle mass, that can be a good metric. Or a gram per pound of body weight if you really want to build muscle reliably and don't have to assess anything. That's pretty easy to do. Are you a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor. Personal trainer. After doing deadlifts, my low back feels tight. Am I doing the move properly? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. It could be that your low back's weak, so that's where you're feeling the most. It could be you're doing it wrong. I don't know. 0.8 to 1.5 per pound of lean muscle mass weight. Yeah, like I said, it's a range. It's a range. So you have to play around with the range and base it upon your own biofeedback. Do you recommend tracking macros for weight loss? it's useful. It's not necessarily a long-term approach, but definitely learning metrics and doing the quantification stuff. Yeah, it's definitely useful. Do you think tall guys have a higher time gaining strength through a higher range of motion? Oh, of course. Yeah, unless you are, like, if you're a big, tall guy where you're built like a lineman, built like a strongman, you can be over 6 feet and really strong. If you don't have that kind of skeleton and you're over 6 feet, you're never going to be that strong. For the tall guys I've worked with, that's one of the things I always have to beat out of their head. Stop obsessing over your strength levels. You're never going to be that strong. You're just not. Yeah, and again, unless you have the frame to do so in terms of your skeletal structure. Focus on muscle mass first, and let the strength will fall where it falls. Did you ever have to train clients to anterior pelvic tilt? All the time, constantly. I've been training clients for 9 years. I've worked with every kind of person. Kevin Durant, LOL. Yeah, really, if you're really tall, if you're over like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'8", whatever, you're not going to be that strong at all. Yeah, LeBron James, I guarantee you, he's strong, but if you were going to the gym and compare him to like a powerlifter, he's not that strong. Yeah, he's strong for a sport, obviously, but he's not going to be the strongest guy. He's too tall. Are you on the West Coast? Yeah, San Diego. Yeah, well, most basketball players, in terms of like the weight they lift in the gym, they're pretty weak if you were to assess them that way. But athleticism is not all about absolute strength. You always have to take height into account. The taller you are, the less strong you're going to be at lifting weights. This is how it goes. What about cardio? What are you asking? Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, no, maybe so. A basketball player's cardio. Play basketball. Do your sport. Versus someone who lifts. That's a false comparison. Why would you compare a basketball player to a weightlifter? It's two completely different things. Steak or chicken, whichever one you prefer. Plant protein versus whey protein, whichever one you prefer. Barbell lunge is good if you perform them correctly. When's the webinar going to be scheduled? Next week. I'll announce on the email list. Like I said, fat loss, a lot of people fat loss is just one of those constant subjects for people. So I'll probably, maybe I'll have it like on a Friday. Just something like that. I'll try and get as many people signed up as possible. It will be a paid webinar. It's going to be an hour long. So, yeah, it's not going to be like it's not going to be like a Periscope of me just firing off questions or firing off answers to people. It'll be longer. But yeah. It's possible to have genetically weak attendance. You're super helpful. You're very welcome. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Some people just don't have good strength genetics that way. Do you cut often? No. I don't cut ever. I don't need to cut. I'm lean year round. Do you have any videos of me? Nope. I do not. The way I eat, train, I'm lean year round, so it's very easy for me to get leaner if I want to. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I need to cut hard now. And like my weight stays pretty within a contained range. Can you completely neglect high bar squats if you do low bar squats and front squats? Yeah, possible. Yeah. Did you ever do farmer's carries? I have in the past. Not really sure what you were asking exactly. Do you have any diet restrictions? I don't frame it that way. I eat very healthy, and there's things I don't eat, but I don't eat those things because they are detrimental to my functionality. I don't think, framing diet is like, oh, you have to restrict yourself. Yeah, you need to restrict yourself if you eat really unhealthy, but if you're trying to optimize your eating, you should be eating foods that help you to be optimal, which means they should be healthy. If you're focused on the restriction aspect of, oh, I can't eat these foods anymore, and I love these foods, I'm like, you're always going to be fucking fat. That's just totally a wrong way to think about it. Do you want to be optimally healthy or not? Do you want to perform at a high level or not? If you want to perform at a high level, then eat to perform. Eat to feel good. Eat so your body runs fast and runs hot. That's how I approach things. If you're concerned about you feeding yourself because you got fucking emotions that you need to satisfy and you're underfucked, okay, you're always going to be overweight. Yeah, that's most people's problem. Yeah, they use food as an emotional crutch and mechanism. Can you gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, or is that a myth? It's not a myth. It's not a myth at all. How much fat you consume? I have no idea. I don't actually count it. I don't count anything. I auto-regulate everything. I don't need to count. That's a great way to look at. Well, it's a better way to look at it. Yeah, it's just like, do you want to live your best life? Then eat the best foods. Think of it that way. If you want to keep living the life you live, then keep eating whatever you eat. Swimming laps in the pool. Swimming cardio. Yeah, cardio can be anything, guys. It comes down to personal preference, honestly. There's no bestest, mostest. What do you like to do? What do you eat on a daily basis? Rice, meat, eggs, avocados, sushi. I have a pretty simple diet. I don't do ratios. I could estimate it, but it doesn't matter. When you've internalized all these things and when you've internalized these things and you are unconsciously competent at them, you don't count anything. I don't really think about what I eat too much. I don't need to. If you're someone where you don't know anything about eating and you have to think about it, then you have to think about it, though. There's different stages, obviously. What's the best way to approach fat loss, in your opinion? The best way, you educate yourself on how your biology works. Read the book Deep Nutrition. Understand how the food you eat affects your actual genetics, affects your DNA. That's why I always call it first order knowledge. If you understand that stuff, then everything from there makes a lot more sense. If you don't understand how your nutrition affects your day-to-day functionality, you're always going to be in a no man's land. Anything else, guys? Any final questions? Do you recommend only juice only? Not really. If you want to, that's why I tell people, like, if you want to, you have to account that, like, the fat loss from that, the weight loss is not going to be permanent. If you can stay lean year-round, why do bodybuilders bulk? Because bodybuilders are continuously trying to gain muscle mass. I'm not trying to gain muscle mass at this point, really. Like, I'm not worried about, I need to be bigger. I don't. So it's not a concern of mine. If I was trying to get my body weight up, yeah, I'd be going through, like, bulks and cuts. It's all context. It's contextually dependent. Chronic low back pain, you probably have a weak low back, and you're probably doing things improperly in the gym. You need to strengthen that. I can't say how it is, but again, I'd have to assess you in person. If your back's always hurting you all the time, your back's weak. Basically, that's what that means. Most people's low back pain, there's nothing wrong with their spine, they just have a weak low back. Weak low back, weak glutes, weak everything, weak posterior chain. I cover that in my posterior power program, which is a back training program. Kettlebell workouts, yeah, they're effective. They can be effective, definitely. Do you like music working out? Yeah, I always listen to music when I work out. No muscle in the back to support the bones. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You gain weight by lifting weights and eating more. That hopefully is axiomatic. All right, people. Good talk. Love you all. Go get yourselves lean. Talk to y'all again.